Hi there, it's Lori, Positive Thanks Living. Welcome to 2024. Wow, how did we get here? So I'm in a new space. 2023, toward the end, allowed us to move. So no longer sharing a craft room with my husband, and I am in my own craft room. The desk you see I'm working at was my mother's. I've chosen a word for 2024. It's actually the third time I've used this word, third year in a row, and the word is simple. So I'm going to be doing simple things this year. Easy things, uncomplicated things. I'm going to be using up things like what you're seeing right now on the screen, which are pages from an old encyclopedia from the late 1800s that just tears. You look at it and it breaks, it tears. But I don't want to throw it away, and that's why I got it, so that I could use it somehow in this junk journaling space. I've created journaling cards by gluing the page together in quarters. And I'm going to start using them in my commonplace book, which is what I do when I want to remember something from a book I'm reading. This is the one I'm starting 2024 out with. And so I write things down and I make a journaling card out of these encyclopedia pages. Today I'm starting a new journal for January. There's a challenge, I'll put a picture in here, that I'm going to join in. I'm not going to do every day because that's not very simple. But I will do those that spark my interests. And today I'm going to start with the first prompt, which is resolutions. And you'll see by the end of this movie my opinion on resolutions. I'm using these letters that go together, they snap together, and I'm going to often in the next year remind myself by putting that word simple on the things I'm working on, because our lives can become so complicated, can't they? One simple thing I'm going to focus on is smiling more in 2024, even if I don't feel like it. It's been proven scientifically that if you take the action of smiling, even if it's just a conscious thing, it helps improve your mood. And people appreciate when they're smiled at. Often I think my resting face is kind of grumpy. So I have to remind myself, hey, just smile. Life is better when we smile. Who doesn't like to get a smile, huh? So we'll put 2024 on this journaling card, and we'll put the word simple. And then I'm going to use some washi tape and some things that I've pre-written, the two statements on the front of the journaling card. I use just plain old stick glue, and this is distressing, just to add a little color. Nothing too complicated. Gotta keep it simple, right? I don't know, do you like things that are complicated? Some people do, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Because I really appreciate those things. Like if you see some of the slow stitching that people do, I watch different ones. And wow, beautiful things that they make with their slow stitching. And I'm going to try some slow stitching this year. But it'll be simple stuff for sure. Yeah. I'm going to try and use up the things that I have in this craft room now. And once I'm organized, because of course, as you might imagine, when you first move, things aren't very well organized. And it's not. But I'll do a tour of my new space that I'm crafting in. Every now and again on Instagram, I post a picture from the window that's in my craft room. I look out into a field, and that's been one of my dreams. Because we lived in an apartment that was very active. Of course, you have hundreds of families, hundreds of people that are living in a small space. You're going to be a part of their life, even if you're just sitting there. So there was always cars coming and going, and there were people talking to each other, coming and going. And in a community, you hear a lot and you see a lot. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this 2024, just looking out at a field, hearing a few birds. That'll be nice and simple. I'll do a tour of the craft room that I'm using now. And I have kept with my original plan. Back when I first started videos, I talked about keeping things in banker's boxes. That's what I still do. My room is full of banker's boxes. And it could appear organized from the outside. But of course, you lift the lid of the banker's box and what's inside isn't that organized. And that's okay with me. Visually, it's simple on the outside. And I can keep everything in an easy way on the inside of the boxes. I'm going to use up what I have. I have a lot of things from my mother. Unfortunately, her life has narrowed to such an extent that she's in a long-term care facility. She has a room, but she's not able to move around on her own. She's in a wheelchair. And dementia's taken a hold, which is very sad. So many of her things, because I'm an only child, has come to my house to live here. And there's nobody else that really cares what happens to them, whether they're pictures or postcards or books or linens or anything. So I'm going to use them in my junk journaling. I might, in 2024, make up some packages, and if anybody wants something that's here to use for their crafting, I'd be thrilled to share. So you're going to see a lot of old things this year that I craft with. And they're mostly from my mom. I'm using a tag here that was in my stash that I cut out at some point over the last 3 or 4 years. And I did some embossing, heat embossing on it. You see the little white flowers there. And I found it and I'm using it. Because that's what we do, right? We don't throw things away necessarily. We make use of them. I really like these plain washes that I've been using. They're a checkered pattern and in various colors. I'll link below to where I found them or the designer. And this is a little tray of extras that just sort of have found their way into that tray. I have a little sticker. It's a Bible verse. I'm Christian, so that sort of reminder is important to me, what God says. And I want to add different things details to this journaling card to create some interest. I'm trying to remember to stay in the middle of the mat so that I'm where you can see me working. Here I'm going to just use this to build up another journal card because I had punched a circle in it and it was a little too close to the edge. So just keep adding on, using up those encyclopedia pages so they don't get thrown away. Oops. Yeah. Keeping things straight is not one of my gifts. Let's try and make this washi tape on there a little more straight. Then I realize the rest of it isn't very straight either. Oh well. Yeah. The little flower that I'm using, that was from when we were married 25 years. I did some invitations with those little blue flowers. So they've been living at my daughter's while we were traveling, and now they're back with me. I'm going to use them up. We're married 40 years this year. So 2024 is our 40th wedding anniversary in May. So I guess it's time to use up those flowers from when we were married 25 years. When we celebrated, we had a breakfast in a butterfly museum in Waterloo, Ontario. Actually, I think it's Breslau, which is close to Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Because, of course, we lived there when we were first married, so we had a celebration, a breakfast with our friends that were at our wedding. This year, 40 years, we won't make such a big deal out of it. Just a little celebration. Pretty soon I'm going to wrap some string around this. Some twine. It's called twine. And you'll see how easily this paper tears. I'm wrapping it around and I pull just a tiny bit. And through a few layers, it tears through. That's okay. It's part of the experience. I'm looking for what else to add. You know how your brain sort of ponders a little bit. Now, what more? Or should I just leave it the way it is? This is a little piece of, it's cotton, and I don't know if it was a ribbon or whether it was just a piece of cotton, but I got it from the ladies at Ideas Times 2. I'll link below when I ordered some of their seam binding that was crinkled. And when it arrives, they had wrapped it up with this little piece of stamped cotton ribbon with the little safety pin, and it makes me smile every time I look at it. And I thought, yep, that's a good thing to add to this. I'm not sure quite what to add also, and I don't want to go searching through things. I'll just use what's here. I don't know. Yeah. Here comes the twine. The blue twine. I decided to trim the little piece of cotton because it was a little long, and then glue it on. I like having it frayed, the bits frayed. I think it looks nice. I use art glitter glue. It's one of my favorite glues because it holds quickly. It holds well with both paper and fabric. I have a love-hate relationship with it, with the nozzle and with the pin that has to go in with it. But it's one of my favorite glues because it dries transparent. I use fabric tack also, depending upon my mood and depending upon what I'm working on. But it's shiny when it dries. Yeah. Let's wrap this. Now, you'll have to watch and see when it tears. I don't realize it at the time as I'm doing it. This paper is so fragile. But I'm thankful to find a way to use it anyhow. Yep, there it is. Oh well. Let's make it work. Wrap it around a few times and add some glue and knot it. Life is better with a smile. Do you smile often? When I watch junk journaling videos, I often smile. I watched one this morning from Wendy at Wendy's Journal Adventures, and she made a video of swatching some new paints, watercolor paints that she received for Christmas. And she talked about she's going to change her recording way of recording. She's been recording all these years with a tripod between her arms, so it obviously very inhibitive in what you do, and she's going to get an overhead recording option, and so that'll make life a little easier. And I smiled when she was talking about that, because it's nice when we can, all of us who craft and who film it, and find an easier way to do things and then share it. I have an arm that is on a tripod that's beside where I craft. Because if I put the arm, if I attach it to the table I'm crafting on, invariably it shakes. So I craft with my phone recording above me. And often what I'll do is attach a microphone to my phone and do a live recording, but speaking live, but I can't find since I moved, I can't find my microphone. Yeah, you know how it is if you've moved at all. I'm sure it'll show up, especially if I decide to order another one. Then I'll find it. Regardless, I'm going to try this voiceover, just holding my phone. That's what I'm doing right now, watching myself craft. How are you doing? How are you feeling about starting a new year, even though it's just sort of an arbitrary mark on a calendar? Are you joining in with Meg's journaling prompts for January? I'm not promising I'm going to do all of them, but I'll do some of them. That's another way I'm going to keep 2024 more simple, as opposed to trying to push myself to do challenges. I'm going to be kinder to myself and remember why I like crafting. Yeah. Here I go. Here's my view on resolutions. Because the first prompt for Meg at Meg Journal's Junk Journal January is resolutions. That's the word. I don't do resolutions, but I do choose one word for a year. And of course, you already know what it is. It's simple. 2024. This is the third year I've used the word simple, but it's been a big benefit in the last 2 years. So, hey, if it's working, why quit, huh? I wish you well. I wish you a wonderful 2024. The resilience and the energy and the optimism that you need going into this year. whatever it'll hold. And I hope that we can share the year together. Now that I have a dedicated spot to do my crafting in, I hope to film more often. It's Lori. That's my name, Lori Ferguson. And I write and make paper crafts and do things. And I call it Positive Thanks Living. It's about living with optimism and gratitude. And I hope to bring a smile to your face, too, in what I do. Even if we're joining together in laughter at whatever silly things happen in our crafting together. Yeah, happy 2024. Life is better with your smile. Take care. It's Lori. Bye for now.